There is something magical about calisthenics basics. Like these most basic fundamental exercises like pull-up, push-up, dip. Like I have a lot of nostalgia for it because that's what I started with. Like the times of Hannibal for King or Bar Brothers, all these guys. Like I was such a moron back then. I was doing so many mistakes in my training. But I think this is like beautiful. Gaining more knowledge, progressing, and then looking back with a smile. And recently I've decided to just go back to these very basic exercises, and there are a few reasons for that. The first one is that I became a bit injured, like through all of these training sessions, these hard skill trainings and weighted calisthenics and all that shit. I've developed a bit of overuse injuries on my elbow, on my wrist, on my knees, ankles. Like there is so many different points in my body which basically got overused because I didn't really give them enough care throughout these hard training sessions. And the second reason was because I really felt like my foundations were lacking a bit. I really wanted to renovate these foundations of mine to be able to build a bigger and more stable tower with these harder exercises and skills. And these calisthenics basics are just so beautiful because of their simplicity. You can do them pretty much anywhere. You can gain insane relative strength and the ability to really control your body, which is something that really gives you a lot of satisfaction. And also when you train calisthenics, it's like you feel that belonging to that whole family of guys who train it also. Like pretty much in every bigger city there is at least a few people who also train calisthenics. And the community of guys training calisthenics is also really nice, and I don't know how to say it, like there is just something about training basics, you know? There is also a big part about your mindset. Like if you train these hard sessions, these hard exercises, it can get a bit stressful. So I think it is a great option to just step back a little, go back to these basic pure calisthenics exercises and just clear your mind and let your body really recover, destroy all of these weak links you had or any overuse injuries that you were approaching. And you also get to like take that step back and look at your journey, your fitness journey with a greater perspective. See, if you really are going towards what you really want from fitness, or are you just pursuing goals that you just feel pressured by the community to reach, like planche, front lever? Do you really want these skills, or do you just feel like they look cool and it would be really like impressive to show them to your friends on Instagram? I've realized that often what we really want from fitness, what we really want to do, how do we want to develop our body, can be quite different from the way you're training and what your goals are. That is why I like to think about calisthenics basics just as a vacation for your mind and for your body. I really feel like that lets my brain fully process what has been going on throughout these couple of years. And I'm a bit regretful, if that's even a word, that I didn't do these kind of vacations more often, because that could really change my journey a bit. Also, I really like combining these calisthenics basics with conditioning. For example, for your knees, for your ankles, like all these fucking boring repetitive exercises that you have to do with high volume and low intensity. Like it sometimes can be a bit painful to convince yourself to do them, but it is really worth it because your body needs some special care sometimes. Especially I noticed it, and I really see great benefits from doing this type of drill work. Especially if you're also doing like high impact activities, like doing some flips or playing some sport where you run a lot. All of these high impact activities have its toll on the body, and it's extremely beneficial to utilize these conditioning drills for your body, because it not only helps and recovers your injuries, but it also makes everything stronger, like more solid, more explosive, and the benefits I've seen are insane. I also wanted to mention the importance of strong foundations with your training. Like if you think about a tower from blocks, this is a foundation. And then there are more and more blocks on top of that, depending on how far you are in your fitness journey. And if you don't really care about your fundamentals that often, as I did, then it can get a little shaky. There can be like a bit of holes in your foundational block, a bit of like old rust maybe. And if you just keep training these hard skills, hard exercises, you build this tower higher and higher, but the fundamentals are weak and you actually risk collapsing that whole fucking tower. And if that happens for you, it may be in the form of some kind of injury or some other bad thing that can happen to you, then you have to rebuild it from the scratch, and it is really a long and difficult process. That's why I think this is a lot better to just regularly visit these foundations of yours and try to glue everything together and make sure it is as stable as possible, as solid as possible, because only then you will be able to build really fucking tall tower that will be not in the risk of collapsing. And I know basics can be very boring sometimes, but it's that awareness that you're building something great. As I said in my previous video, is that I like to go through my grind while thinking about the sculpture that I'm working on. Like there is a lot of tedious and boring, monotonous work, but I still have at the back of my head the image of the full finished sculpture. It really helps me to think like that. And don't forget that on basics, even the very basic conditioning and basic exercises, you also get to progressively overload. You also get to push yourself to the limit, feel that masculine energy in you. So despite me being in my phase of conditioning my body, I still really enjoy my training sessions. Like right here I have my training journal, and today I did pike push-ups. I did like 4 sets of pike push-ups for 9 reps each with perfect form, and it was really fun because I got to push myself even to 9.5 RIR, which is reps in reserve, so I had like half rep in the reserve. So yeah, that's just something I wanted to share with you that I learned recently, that sometimes I really need to visit my foundations and renovate them a bit, make sure they are stable and solid, because only then I will be able to progress to these difficult advanced skills. So yeah, think about it. Do you need to visit your foundations, or are they in a great shape? Trust me, it is worth to ask yourself that question. And remember, reject forms and seek your limits. Peace.